One time I dreamt. Everyone spelled orange as O-R-A-N-J-E, and when I told them they were spelling it wrong, all people said was, the J stands for juice. Today we're looking at real dreams submitted to the Tumblr blog One Time I Dreamt. Go follow the blog, show the admin Taya some love, and let's head back into dreamland. My friend told my crush that I liked her. I was worried about how she'd react since I'm a girl and she's straight as far as I know. But she just laughed and said, "Hey, it's fine. We're in Mexico." We weren't in Mexico. I was able to perform a mildly invasive spinal operation. It was a success and the dude walked off with no problems. But my mom wanted me to perform an operation she deemed infinitely more invasive. It consisted of throwing a chair at someone's back and hoping it hit them in the right spot and that it would snap the vertebrae back in place. I was walking through a grocery store with a friend, having a conversation, which I don't remember because it was pretty average, and we suddenly stopped in the cheese aisle. I asked my friend, "There's a large variety of cheese behind me, isn't there?" There was. My best friend had a new boyfriend, and after snooping around a bit, I discovered he supported the new presidential candidate. The candidate's political positions were, horses are great, and women don't have bones. Somehow, this was normal, and I accepted it before going to catch a mouse with my bare hands. Mickey Mouse pushed me into a volcano. One time I dreamt that Mickey Mouse saved me from drowning, and then in a deep, not Mickey voice said, "Remember, the next time you pray, I'll be playing God." And then I woke up. I was in a dark club watching a goblin quartet sing a song that sounded like Mr. Sandman, but which had different words. It went like, "Garble Gackman, bring me my dreams, make him the fiercest that I've ever seen. Give him deep eyes like onyx and granite, and tell him that I will stand beside him." I was at the store buying potatoes so I could make mashed potatoes. I turned into the next aisle and Thomas Sanders came up behind me, stole all the potatoes from my cart, handed me a bag of sweet potatoes before leaning down and whispering, "The sweet potato is superior," in my ear and running out the door with my potatoes, setting the alarms off. Then I was arrested for assisting in a robbery and was sent to prison. A new emoji update came out and everything was the same, except they all had anime legs. My friends spammed me with anime-legged peach and eggplant emojis, gifts so they looked like they were running, and then I looked up and out of my window, and I saw the knife emoji wearing fishnet stockings, and I screamed. Chris Evans was my dentist, but all we did at my appointment was talk about how cute our dogs are. I was watching a trailer for a movie about Barack Obama's life, and they cast Michelle as a white woman with blue eyes. I was so furious, I woke up. Was it Scarlett Johansson? My mom kept calling me Y/N, and then other people were calling me that as well, and I realized Y/N was actually my name, and I was living in a bad Danny DeVito X-Reader fanfic. I suddenly didn't have any elbows, but otherwise I had regular arms. The first worry to strike me about the situation was that I would no longer be able to do the YMCA dance. I did a little yeet as part of a ritual. I don't know what the ritual was, but I yeeted. I yeeted. I was in a gang that went around on skateboards and killed vampires by throwing bottle caps at them. I poisoned a friend's sandwich as a prank to make him think he was allergic to hot sauce. To make things fair, I killed myself as well because I felt bad. I knew I was going to hell and accepted anything that they would throw at me. But hell couldn't torture me because my standards for what should be done to me kept changing, and I was enjoying every kind of torture that they put me through. Eventually, they got tired and thought, "You get out of here, we can't work this way." And I was revived. Even my friend got back to life because of me. I was at a fair with my family, and we found out that my granddad had died. They went to his funeral, but I stayed at the fair because I didn't want to go. Then I realized I was dreaming because my grandpa isn't dead. I gained dream control and decided I'd make my OTP canon before my very eyes. I had to fight my way through waves of the pens I stole from others throughout my lifetime. Bo Burnham moved to the moon. My friends and I were planning a party when he yelled to Earth, "If y'all dumb motherfuckers want comedy, you're gonna have to come up here and get it." So my whole family packed up, got into a couple of vans, and took off, presumably to the moon. My high school wanted me to make a poster that said something like, "Hatsune Miku wants you to donate blood." But for some reason, I think I made it say, "Hatsune Miku is a dumbass." Queen had one more member, and he usually did nothing. He was cute, nice-looking, and always smiled. There was a concert, and after the band finished a song, the crowd wanted to hear the guy play or sing, but the original members said that he sucked, so the crowd booed at them, and they let him do it to prove their point, and so he sung and played on the instruments the members had for a while, but he sucked so bad. I was having tea with a cow who was talking to me about global warming, and I asked her if the milk used in the tea was hers. I got so embarrassed that I couldn't look her in the eye after that. There was a Phineas and Ferb episode where they were all at Dr. Doofenshmirtz's Evil Incorporated, and Doofenshmirtz had created an anti-sicko modinator, and as soon as it went off, sicko mode started playing, and they all began having a whole-ass bop to it. I was in the Palace of Westminster for a meeting with some of the UK's leaders, and was greeted by the Queen, who was a human-sized slug wearing a little crown and holding a scepter. My dad's dream. All he remembers is me saying, "She isn't gay, she just doesn't like classical music." A man was saying, as I held him at knife point, "I can only legally express 17 emotions, and I'm feeling all of them in this Chili's tonight." Frozen 2 was a multiple-choice film with different endings, like Heavy Rain. I remember a scene where the gang was running away from a monster. Zoink Scoob. And Olaf flied into the air. Where the subtitles are meant to be was a choice path, and it read, "Let Olaf fly into the air and die, or run to his rescue." I don't remember what happened after that, but the film was paused for a long time with my sisters arguing about the choices. We let Olaf die. Last night I dreamt that Toy Story 2 had a full title. Toy Story 2, Larvesta. As you might guess, I woke up very confused. Keanu Reeves came to my college theater department to do a masterclass. Afterwards, I asked if I could take a picture with him, but for the life of me, I couldn't find my phone, so I asked my friend if she would take it with hers. She took a bunch, and me and Keanu had a fun time doing different poses together. When she was done, we asked if we could see the pictures. But all of the pictures were of Woody and Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. Keanu Reeves told me I was cool, so I was like, "Whoa, now I know what I want my grave to say." And he replied, "You don't understand, do you? Those were the words. Now you're immortal too." I had to fight Shrek 4 times, and each time I fought him, he gradually got lower in quality. First time was his movie appearance, second time was like a bad video game render, third time was a 2D drawing, and the fourth time was scribbles. Each time I ended up losing to him, and my punishment was to smell bad until I washed myself. I had a dream I was trying to get Dunkin' Donuts, but it was called Weenus Beanus. I was playing Minecraft, and in the options menu there was a button that said, Sex Mode, and all it did was make the water purple. My mom was at the store, so I was home alone. I went into the kitchen, and there was freshly baked garlic bread on the counter. I didn't know where it had come from. My mom got home just then, so I asked her where the garlic bread came from, and she said she didn't know. I asked her if our house was haunted because, at the time, that seemed like the only possibility to me. My mom looked uncomfortable for a good 30 seconds. Then she admitted that our house was haunted by a friendly garlic bread-making ghost. Pine cones were actually tiny fingernail-sized animals, and they were highly illegal. I wanted one for a pet, so I called a foreign pine cone dealer, and he delivered me 2 prime-quality pine cones, which I kept inside a ballet shoe. They turned the whole of Australia into a reality TV show with 3 seasons and 15 episodes each. a weekly episode, and they put a zombie virus out so that everyone in Australia had to board up their houses and keep hidden and try to survive. But it turned out that the virus didn't work, and it only spread across Perth. And then all the zombies died out, so for 45 weeks, everyone was scared out of their minds of zombies, when there weren't actually any. I was running away from a man that everyone was trying to force me to marry, and as a last resort, I signed up to be a nun. I had to wear this underwear that reached up to my armpits and was told that I had to wash it in holy water every night, as we only get one pair each. The convent was also haunted by a sad demon that no one would acknowledge, and it would beg for us to exorcise him back to hell, but we all just ignored him. Also, one of the nuns kept throwing peanuts at me whenever she passed by. Her rosary was made of peanuts. I was working at a marshmallow factory, and my fellow worker looked a lot like Kevin Jonas. And when I went to question him on his identity, he whispered in my ear, "Times be tough." And then he pushed me into liquid marshmallow. There was a Venn diagram that consisted of one side that was a young boy following a caterpillar across the grass, watching intently. And the other side was that song that's like, "Every step you take, I'll be watching you." Someone was testifying against me in court, and all the documents had his name down as Ben Morgan. But when the judge asked him to state his name, he insisted it was pronounced Batman McGee. Daphne from Scooby-Doo was struggling to figure out why she didn't feel like there was a place for her in the group anymore. So she went to Fred's, and there was an unknown woman washing dishes in the sink, and Fred was older. He sadly looked at Daphne and said something like, "Are we doing this again?" And it was revealed that Daphne had actually died and was a ghost, and this happened whenever she forgot that. Me and my boyfriend went to like a Pokemon trainer class where they gave us Pokeballs and we were taught to catch Pokemon. And halfway through, my neighbor showed up screaming that Pokemon weren't real, and all the Pokemon started beating him up. I was on a school bus being driven by Steve Irwin. We saw a kangaroo at the school, and Steve tried to get it to fight the bus. I was on a date with this guy, and it was going great, and he asked me what I wanted. So I told him I wanted to travel and fall in love with the world along with someone who loves me. And he held my hand and said that it was what he wanted too. And then he looked me in the eyes and bit into a Rubik's Cube. I was in a dimly lit room and two pregnant ladies were making out, and I was just kinda standing there. And then a neckbeard in a cape came up behind me and started whispering, "Ask, ask, ask," over and over again directly into my ear in a British accent. I was dating Loki, and we were on a double date with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. We were in my living room, but suddenly Lady Gaga and Bradley went upstairs and locked the door, so Loki and I assumed they were having sex. But then we heard the muffled sound of them loudly singing "Shallow." I walked into my world religions class. My teacher called me a slut, and I whipped around anime style and said, "You know it, girl!" Everyone cheered. My recent dream involves the Kardashians laying eggs, and they were going to be killed because they were part animal witch and not just a regular witch. Apparently, instead of trying to save their lives, they decided to have one last omelet together as a family. So Kim laid the egg, and this witch who was also a hunter was trying to hunt them down because of the pureblood crap while they were trying to have a decent breakfast. So the witch hunter broke in their fancy-ass house and all the Kardashians are clucking, Protect the egg. Protect the egg. So one of them, I think it was Chloe, was doing her best to make their last meal for them to eat before their demise. Everything was chaotic, wands were used, feathers went flying, and then I woke up. Now I don't know what happened next, if the Kardashians got to eat their breakfast, or if they were killed. Or did maybe the witch who was the hunter die? I'll never know. A random voice told me that the thing about to form in front of me was my future husband, and suddenly a thing started forming in front of me. But I think my morning alarm interrupted the dream, because the next thing I knew, I was awake and staring at my lamp, and the first thing I thought was, "Oh heck, I'm gonna marry a lamp!" Big thank you to my Patreon members, my little ruse, Kuski55, Fallen Vexen, Sam, Donka42, I Am a Noodle, John Huang, and Fantastic Wreck. Thank you so much for your extra support on Patreon. It means the world to me. I appreciate you very much, and I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you have some sweet dreams. The same goes to my YouTube channel members, my mini-roos, AD, Taylor Thompson, Foxstar Killer, DeBella, and Logan. Thank you for your extra support. I'm so glad to have you be a part of my channel. You guys rock, and again, I hope you guys are having the sweetest of dreams. And thank you to everyone else for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can tell me about weird dreams you've had in the comments. I've used your comments to make more videos like this before. You can check them out. I'll link them in the description. And I just hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.